Try to orient yourself, not by checking your GPS, but by sensing exactly where you are standing. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Do you know which watershed provides the water you drink, or which way the wind is blowing outside your window? For most of human history, the planet provided our orientation. The seasons told us when to plant because the soil warmed. The weather told us how to prepare because the wind shifted. The landscape, the ridgeline, the creek, the mountain, was the ground truth against which we measured everything. We usually frame our tech crisis as a struggle with addiction or the drain of doom scrolling. But we are facing a deeper loss of sovereignty. We have lost the planet as our primary anchor. Now we are untethered. We rely on algorithms for context and platforms for a sense of belonging. The feed provides our identity, but it can't provide the ground beneath our feet. In mid-2024, LinkedIn replaced its ranking system with a foundation model AI. While the old system just counted likes, the new AI judges substance in real time. It turns your recent actions into a prompt, using your engagement as a training set to learn your values. When you perform for these systems, you adapt. You curate a professional persona for LinkedIn, a polished face for Instagram, and a different voice for your group chats. This gap between your digital performance and your physical self creates what researchers call total identity fragmentation, a state where your identity is split into fragments optimized for different platforms. This fragmentation has a physical cost. In 2023, the U.S. Surgeon General declared loneliness a public health epidemic, noting its biological toll is as damaging as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. We are suffering from a structural community deficit. One person holds the voting rights for the feeds of 3 billion users. Just 25 companies control the digital substrate for nearly every nation on Earth. This tech oligarchy owns the architecture of visibility, deciding which conversations and which people are seen. By performing for machines that don't know our watersheds or our weather, we sacrifice our sovereignty to platforms. We are training ourselves to forget who we are without an algorithm to tell us. Otto Scharrer suggests a path back to wholeness called Theory U. Descending the curve requires letting go of the judgment, cynicism, and fear algorithms amplify. At the bottom, you cross a threshold to a physical baseline. This is presencing, being fully here. Here, you practice attestation. You recognize the physical realities that actually sustain you, the watershed supplying your home and the soil beneath your feet. Hitting this physical baseline is the only way to resist being flattened by the digital layer. Once you re-anchor to your physical coordinates, you can begin to repair your sense of self. For centuries, we treated the world as a single, flat layer, property to be extracted and resources to be used. This view created a mindset where everything is finite and scarce. But the planet has always been a stack of overlapping layers. The microbial layer cycles nutrients, the watershed layer moves water, and the bioregional layer defines homes. Human connection exists in these layers too. In Okinawa, they call a committed group of lifelong friends a moai. These real-world community structures provide a depth of support that no algorithmically assembled audience can match. Finally, there is the planetary layer, the ocean currents and atmospheric systems that sustain all life. This system governs our physical and digital activity. Recognizing these complex, regenerative layers transforms our worldview. We move from a state of digital scarcity to one of ecological abundance. We then begin the ascent of the right side of the U-curve. We return to the digital world, but we do it as whole people. We use the platforms, but we are no longer used by them. This transition isn't just personal, it's becoming systemic. In March 2026, a jury in Los Angeles held Meta and YouTube accountable for designing platforms that deliberately wire children's brains for anxiety and depression. For the first time, a jury treated addictive algorithmic design not as protected speech, but as a defective product. They looked at internal documents and held the platforms accountable for the physical harm they caused. This verdict shows the legal system beginning to mirror our physical reality. It is a moment where human sovereignty asserts itself over the architecture of visibility, holding the digital layer to a physical standard of safety. Your life is defined by its own geometry, the sound of the local creek, the shared sky with your neighbor, and the memory of the land. These anchors are still there. You only have to remember where you stand.